What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about disconnecting. Now, this is a subject that has been covered to a great extent on other people's channels. Amish's video comes to mind. So there isn't really too much that I can really weigh in on this subject that hasn't already been covered, but one thing that I can do is be mildly funny while making comparisons to martial arts, because that's what I do. So, quitting out, fog walling, BCing, not wanting to lose a fight. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody come in and take an introductory class, and they walk in with this macho tough guy attitude, you know, expecting to do really well, only to be extremely disappointed when, for instance, a 110-pound girl submits them up and down the mat like they're a baby. You know, and some people will take that and they'll never come back again, and you know, they'll have a really rotten experience, they'll go home feeling shitty, and they'll never decide to better themselves. And I kind of think that that's the exact same thing that's happening when you choose to disconnect or fog wall or BC, depending on the situation. You know, when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was really bad, and I was familiar with wrestling and the positions, and I watched a lot of MMA, and I kind of thought, I was just like kind of everybody else. I thought, oh yeah, I'll be able to kind of handle myself, and boy was I wrong. I got on the mat with my coach that's I've been training with for the last 3 years, and the first time I went with him, man, in the span of maybe 6 minutes, I got submitted like 12, maybe even 15 times. He threw me up and down the mat, he swept me, he armbarred me, he choked me, he gave me a full masterclass on how I didn't know anything. And it's kind of similar in this game. People, you know, they'll watch some montages or a Mimi Fighter PL video, and they go, oh, that looks easy, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fire up my split leaf and one-shot everybody in my wake, or I'm gonna just, you know, I'll walk up to this guy and throw out a parry and it's gonna work for me, or, you know, things like that. Or catch a backstab, or, you know, they come into it thinking like it's not so hard, and, you know, they end up with a bad taste in their mouth for invaders and gankers and hosts, whatever it may be that you're doing. And I feel like they limit themselves to learning by closing themselves off to the thought that somebody can be better than them at something. And you know, there's levels to everything. You can't start boxing without getting punched. You can't. This actually happens a lot in traditional martial arts, in karate. Oh yeah, wait, 1 second. So, like, am I the asshole for using this seed? I believe that was what the seed was initially for. When somebody's not engaging you like that, you're a solo host, I'm technically an invader, yeah? I was attempting to invade in this area right before this guy showed up. Right now he is hindering what I'm trying to do. He doesn't necessarily want to engage me, he's just looking to hit me with his little split leaf combo. I believe I'm justified in using this, but I could be wrong. Maybe you guys could enlighten me on the proper use of the seed. I personally don't like using it unless I have to, but this was kind of one of those situations where I saw, like, he's not going to engage unless I make him engage, so I chose to. Back to kind of what I was saying, in traditional martial arts, they teach you forms, and they teach you the techniques, and you come, and you basically get rank by just showing up. You know, you could be relatively out of shape, maybe not too focused, not particularly skilled, but you'll climb up the ranks if you just keep showing up. Like, there's tons of 13, 14-year-old black belts that think that they can defend themselves, or, you know, they think that whatever they've been devoting their time to, they're like disillusioned into thinking that whatever they've been spending their time doing is gonna cut it. And then those are the types of people that are typically extremely disappointed when they find out that whatever they've been doing isn't necessarily gonna work. And I don't know, I just feel like you can take any of these experiences and turn it into an opportunity to grow. And that's kind of the thing that separates like somebody who's going to get really good at something and somebody who's going to stay stagnant. And it's not, kind of in this game, invaders and hosts like we kind of need each other to thrive. Like, I need hosts so that I can invade, and hosts need invaders, or else they'll have no one to gank with their friends, or they'll have no one to fight. So I just think that it's the wrong attitude to try to DC like that. Too often does this kind of situation happen. Within the first 6 months of me training, I started to get a little bit proficient, and eventually I was the guy that my coach would put on all the new students, because he didn't want to stick them with some of the girls at risk of them getting hurt. And he was like, alright, he can handle himself, and it's good experience for him to feel like what a relatively untrained person's gonna do, because they're not gonna do the same thing that a trained person's gonna do. A trained person knows where to put his hands and stuff, and untrained people are gonna make mistakes, but they're also gonna spaz. They're gonna do stuff that's completely unexpected, and it's good to get kind of both of that. So, for instance, there was this karate guy that came in, and he had a traditional karate gi on, and he had this kind of, oh, well, if the fight doesn't go to the ground, if I can keep it standing, then there's really nothing you can do. But kind of little does he know that the majority of people who train MMA and jiu-jitsu, they are pretty well-rounded and are prepared to get kicked, punched, defend these things, and retaliate, which is something that traditional martial artists usually aren't prepared for because they don't spar. And it's similar to in this game, when you just do the same things. For instance, this guy, he's doing his R1, R1, R2. That's a great move. It's a good roll catch if the person rolls. If the person does it too frequently, then it can be parried. It can be backstabbed. It's highly counterable, and then you risk kind of falling into a predictable pattern. And so yeah, the karate guy, I put him into a position where he was uncomfortable, and he was like a fish out of water. There was really nothing he could do, and it was almost like he was blindly trying to use karate on the ground, which wasn't necessarily working for him. And then he kind of reverted to like whatever, maybe he did wrestling when he was a little bit younger, and that started to work for him a little bit better, but still not enough. And I doubt that guy will ever come take another MMA class again. Perhaps he'll stop doing karate, maybe he'll stick with it, maybe he's never going to get past the whole one-dimensional side of everything. And it's a shame, because he spent years doing something, and then he finds out that it's not necessarily the best thing, and I don't know, it's sad for me. So here's kind of the meat and potatoes of this video, this invasion in particular. I'm having a 1v1 with this guy. I've invaded him before, my friends invaded him, and my friend said, oh yeah, he'll 1v1 you. It's, I've fought him a couple times, and it's not so bad. Once, he's a relatively skilled player. He's using, the Claymore S-Stock combo at the beginning, and once he realized that it was, the odds weren't entirely stacked into his favor, and, there was a possibility of him losing, he kind of changed his style. I'll try to point it out once I see it, but at a certain point he kind of starts backing off and going into that room and making me chase him and coming. So I was wondering what he was doing, and then I kind of started to realize he's going to try to summon blues. He's going to wait for an opportunity to dry finger and maybe pick up a phantom. He has the full intention of ganking me when he gets a group, because he knows that there's a strong chance that he might lose this fight, and he can't bear to take that loss, which is a shame. This fight could have ended very quickly if he would have stayed still and just fought me. But instead, it turned into a, spoilers, a super hostile situation where he's gonna attempt to gank me, and eventually I'm gonna get some teammates. We're gonna take out his blues, and he's gonna fog wall. So yeah, here's the blue. He's got Lidos. It's a shame. I'm gonna kind of narrate this invasion. I tried to cut this down and speed it up in areas as much as possible because this video is already kind of dragging on a bit long for my taste. Catch a backstab here. He tries to hit me as I come out of the iframes with the R2. Just kind of looking at him, seeing what he's gonna do. This blue doesn't seem too knowledgeable. He just, he's probably pancaked plenty of people with that Lidos combo, and it's worked for him, and he's gonna stick to that. So eventually they stop engaging me, and then they wait for the third blue to show up. Right here, I think about BCing, but I really don't like doing that. Win or lose, I'm gonna see this invasion out to the end. If I get spammed to death, I get spammed to death. I'll take the BM, the inevitable BM, because I'm sure I would have been met with much shit throws and point downs if I died. And I get a co-invader. They desperately try to take me out before the co-invader shows up. Luckily, he shows up and stuns them with a bomb. They then shift their focus to him, and they pop his tears. They're super tunnel visioned and distracted, so I take this opportunity to take out this blue. Do a little bit of parry spamming, it ends up working out in my favor. I was on my last Estus, I'm about to get 2 more, and now it is a 2v2. But I need to play it carefully. The host immediately runs back, perhaps trying to find a phantom or something, using really terrible ambush tactics. And while I break off to go engage the host, my co-invader gets pancaked, which is a shame. So I get 1 more Estus, and now I'm alone again. Catch a backstab on this blue. The host switches weapons because obviously the plow wasn't working for him, so it must be the weapon, so he needs to switch to something else. That's a good chase down weapon. It's got good phantom range. It does, maybe he has the thrust ring on, get a little bit of extra damage. He wants me dead so bad. Oh, check this backstab. I'm sure that made him super upset because after this point he kind of stops engaging me. Which is a mistake on his part because I'm about to get another co-invader. Who is, a true Thrall Hat Fighter PL man. I go after this blue who is out of FP, and right here he makes the fatal mistake of chugging in my face, and I put him into a little bit of a roll catch chain. And then I put him out. So now we get to see this man's true colors. Now it's a 2v1. It is not stacked into his favor. He's going to run down here, and we are going to exchange a little bit of BM back and forth, some point downs, some poo throws, and an experience that could have been just a normal 1v1. Maybe run into him later, maybe have some matches, turns into a hostile situation, and I did not make a friend this day. And I say that in all honesty, here in this situation, I was trying to invade. I'm about to get an invader coming into my world, and I'm genuinely excited when I get an invader coming into my world. I'm like, hey, I haven't met this guy yet. Maybe we'll be friends. Maybe we'll have a good match. Maybe he's pretty skilled and he can show me something that I don't know. And it's a shame that the first thing that this man does when I bow to him is that. I'm not gonna make a friend today. It's sad. This could have been a wonderful exchange, and instead it is just going to be a BM fest. He refuses to engage me. He's going to use the obscuring ring and just pop in here and there, throw bombs at me, throw poo at me, and yeah, it's a waste of time. I'm an invader. I don't know where this hostility is at, and like, you know, it's situations like these where I kind of get it, like where some of the hosts and the gankers, you know, they have a bad taste in their mouth from invaders, because like if this is exactly what they're encountering, I kind of get it. You know, it's a shame. You know, that's pretty much all I really have to say on the subject. Like I said, you know, this topic's been covered on, you know, other people's channels who do a lot more concise commentary than I can, and, you know, I'm not the best player, and, you know, I can only kind of give my little take on it and make some comparisons here and there. You're never gonna make an omelet without breaking eggs. I think that's the metaphor. I don't know. I'm bad at those. So he goes up there. He's just kind of wasting both of our times at this point. Like, I have no intention of playing the level. I was trying to invade this area. Like, there's really no reason for me to go out there. And so he gave me lots of BM, and I can only return the favor by introducing him to my form of BM, which is this. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Fucklord combo. As always, take care. Thanks for listening to my little rant. And, you know, be nice to each other. Take care.